district. I farm down south of Glenwood. Glad to be here this morning.
And Lyle Koenen from Clark City. I'm a member of the Minnesota Senate and represent District 17, which includes Candy, Ojai, Renville, Chippewa, and Swift counties. And most of my life I was a dairy farmer.
Wow. Ed Bolus, I'm at Diecast Specialties in Starbuck. I'm also a board member and also on the legislative committee here. Our panel, and one more introduction.
Mary Cranston, representing this lovely area up into Ottertail. 2 kids out there, so if you hear any more screaming, that shouldn't happen because I think I banished one into this room, so. Somewhere.
That's how we all got to be good people. Why don't we start with a brief statement from each of the representatives here. Whatever you'd like to talk about is fine, and then we can open it up to questions. So, you want to start?
Okay, I'll start. In the Senate, I had what I considered some pretty good committee assignments. I was appointed to the full tax committee, the tax reform committee, agriculture and rural development, and environment and energy. So that's the areas I worked in. The Ag Committee and the Environment and Energy Committee were policy committees. This year we got through the session on time. Of course, it ran right up to midnight, but we did make it. The tax bill, and I found this to be my experience as during the years I've been in the legislature. I just finished my 11th session, so I've gone through this 11 times. But the tax bill has what I consider some good things in it, some things I'm not real happy about, and that's kind of the usual thing when you go through a session. In the compromise at the end, that's where you end up. And we can talk about that a little more. But I'll just mention now that some of the business-to-business, which Governor Dayton had promoted early on, and I understand what he was up to. He was, trying to reform part of tax reform, broadening the base and lowering the rate. But business to business, I personally have trouble with because of the pyramiding or the effect of the cost being built into the product or service as you move along. But we can talk about that a little more as we move along here. But during the session, we did put more money into education, which I think is a good thing. I would like to see Minnesota in a position to compete for the world's best jobs, and to do that, I think we need a very well trained and educated workforce. I do think, and this is my opinion, I do believe, however, that we are lacking a little bit in technical training, both in high school and in some cases in courses in the 2-year schools afterwards. But we can talk about that a little more as we go along too. But I was glad to see that there's more money going into education. And I'll let these two people make a statement. Thanks.